Hello sports fans, Larry Allen here at the KGAS studios and Scott Suratt with me as we get ready to talk football for the Carthage Bulldogs. The Bulldogs in Texarkana tonight to face Liberty Iowa, but last week at Bulldog Stadium, the Jacksonville Indians, who opened up Bulldog Stadium back in 2008, they were here to open up the 2018 season. Dogs never trailed, 52-20 at half. They won it 61-20. I wrote down some of the highlights that I saw. We're going to get the coach's reaction in just a second after he viewed the film. Roe Garrett, 79-yard kickoff return, a yard deep down to the 22-yard line, 26-yard fumble return for a TD by Jalen Brooks, 5 touchdowns for Tucker Smith. Defense held Jacksonville. I had Jacksonville to only 31 yards rushing the entire ball game. Alberto Garcia, 2 kickoffs, 4 to 5 yards deep into the end zone on the fly. Only 2 penalties for the Bulldogs. A couple of areas of concern. We turned it over a couple of times and only converted 4 out of 9 extra points. Okay, Scott, what'd you see?
4 out of 9 extra points. No, it was I think only 2 of them were the kicker's fault. So it was our first time on Friday night, and I thought our snaps were good, other than one. And then Holcomb was our holder last year, and he's never dropped one. He dropped one, so we're glad he got that out of the way. And so I think you'll see that unit improve. And we've been very good in practice, and it's just you got to do it in a game. But the turnover was the interception. We had a receiver that ran the wrong route, and that's a timing deal with the quarterback pulls the ball, as you probably saw, we were kind of getting on the receivers to the quarterback because we thought it was an absolute strike where it was supposed to go. And then Tucker fumbled the ball there, and he just got to have better ball security. But defensively, I thought we played well, other than really busted on third and around 20, and we tried to undercut and pick it instead of playing good defense, getting the ball on the ground and make them punt. But other than that, the 2 penalties, I thought we played well. We were worried about it. Everybody, like everybody else, not having a second scrimmage, but we did more game situation things in the second week, like we were having scrimmage against each other, and so I thought that helped. But I thought we played well for us alignment and most of all assignment, and then we played extremely hard after watching the film. And those 3 things is our goals: alignment, assignment, and play unbelievably hard.
Well, I don't have my stats in front of me, but from what I recall, Carthage never punted, and Jacksonville punted 8 times in the ball game. Well, last week, and I was really enjoyed this. I hope our listeners did. We had you go over the offensive starters. So here is my depth chart from last week. Talk about the defense.
Yeah, as strong in as Quan Brown. He had a phenomenal game for us. He's the one that tipped the ball up in the air and had to pick early in the game. And he's played very well in the scrimmage in the first game. Desmond Hicks has played tons last year for us, started a lot for us last year. And then Charles Westmoreland has got in for Felipe Ponce. He's down with injury. We're expecting Felipe back maybe in 2 to 3 weeks. He's going to give it a shot on that knee. But Charles has played well, and then Quentin Owens, he's trouble in there now. He's very quick off the ball. He's long, and he's going to have a lot of sacks for us. And let's see, linebackers. Alan Campos, he's our Sam linebacker. He's played very well so far. Jalen Brooks is Mike linebacker. He played well the other night. Rayvon Ingram played well. I believe he was our leading tackler. He's a will linebacker. And Triple D, DeAndre Bowman is one corner, and then just Corey Ware started last year, had 8 picks, and he had a pick the other night, and at the other corner. Cole Whitlock at safety started for us all the games last year and played well. And then Stephen Darden is first-year safety for us, and he played well other than a snap or 2, and he's going to get better and better.
All right, I want you to make comments on 3 of those guys that you just mentioned. Desmond Hicks, Quentin Owens, and Quantarius Brown. They're all juniors, and they're all 6'2" or 6'3", and they're all 210 to 215. When I want to real quickly call who made the tackle, it's tough to distinguish between those 3 guys because they all look, they're same height, same weight. And as you mentioned, Quentin Owens and Desmond Hicks got most of the starts last year, but you told us in Chalk Talk several times, hey guys, there's another one just like those two, Quantarius Brown, that's on the JV team, and boy, we called his name a lot the other night.
He's going to be a really good player. You know, he's figuring it out, playing more technique. He plays so hard. He's the only one that we looked out there and thought he was about to cramp the other night a little bit. And but he plays so hard, and he's going to be a really good one. We're excited about his play. We're excited about Charles Westmoreland's play inside too. And you know, he's probably 330, 340, and 330, 340 pounds, and he's played very well for us.
So when you had him in there. In fact, he started, that's 4 juniors on that defensive line.
4 juniors on the D-line, so we should be solid there in the next couple of years.
All right, got to have your comments also on the offensive line. I don't recall one play where Gunner was running for his life. Great protection. I don't think anyone ever touched him, and the Jacksonville quarterback was under duress the entire ball game. I thought the offensive line really did a great job.
Well, you know, the MVPs really are the D-line and the O-line. You know, those guys don't get a lot. Sometimes the D-line does because of the sacks, but the O-line, you know, you've never seen a Super Bowl or you know, a bowl game in college where the offensive lineman is the most valuable player. But those guys definitely were both sides of the ball, and you know, we didn't have any pressure, but we knocked them off the ball. It was very physical. I don't know if we busted an assignment, and that's unbelievable in the first game. Coach Inslee and Coach Watson, the offensive line coaches, have done a phenomenal job. And you know, hopefully we can continue to dominate up front because they did the other night.
So Carthage now 6-1 against Jacksonville since Coach Suratt has been here. We played 6 years in a row. Last time to see them was in 13, and here we are playing them again in 18 and 19. All right, Liberty Ilo next on the schedule up at Texarkana. What have you seen there, Scott?
You know, there was a little sloppy, honestly, last week, and that's scary. They didn't play very good against Arkansas High, and Arkansas High's pretty good, and still got beat 20-6. And they're really talented. And they didn't, like I said, they had a lot of penalties, had a lot of guys going down with cramps last week, and you know, didn't execute as well. They have a new quarterback, and the quarterback was special last year. They executed very good, and there was a lot of guys that played a lot of ball. And so with more experience, that group, I think, is going to be really good, and I'm hoping they wait another week to be really good, but I think they're going to be pretty good before it's over.
All right, your comments on our JV and freshmen. I believe they both won.
They did. They went over and played very well. I viewed it on tape, and you know, they got after Jacksonville very well. It wasn't really as close as the scores, but you know, we're proud of them, how hard they played.
Now, last week we had you talk about the new rule that if you fair catch the kickoff between the goal line and the 25, it comes out to the 25. I asked you before we started this tape about targeting. That's going to be an area of emphasis in the NFL, and it's floated down to the high school level too, right?
It has. You know, they're trying to make it safer, and I understand why. And it's hard. It's hard to do. You got a receiver, quarterback, or a tailback putting their head down trying to run over you, but you can't put your crown down, and so it's tough. It is really tough on a defensive guy, and you know, I think that's a lot of the reason the scoring is going to continue to go up, because you basically got to hit them with your chest or your shoulder, and you know, can't use your mask, and but it is safer, so I'm for it, and but we teach it. You know, you can't. They'll throw a 15-yarder on you, and you're kicked out of the game in targeting now. And used to be wasn't that way in high school. And so, well, it was, but they were very selective. But they're cracking down. The officials said we're going to call more of it, and so we'll see how that works. But we talk about it and work on, you know, eyes up everything, and you can't take a shot at somebody, you know, a defenseless guy, or you'll be out of the game for sure.
I haven't had you comment on this. Isn't this the year that all coaches in Texas had to go through a particular study on proper techniques of tackling? I mean, you had to be certified that you had done it. Is that right?
You got to be certified by the next year.
Oh, the next year.
So by next football season, everybody will have to take a class, and you know, all of us have taken it, and so we're ready to go. But you'll have to do it every year. We'll have to recert. The ones that took it, we'll have to do a recert on or recertify online or whatever, and so yeah, they're educating everybody, and that's good. I think it's a great thing.
How about volleyball this past week?
Volleyball had a tough week. We went to, we ranked number 3, and then we went to, I believe, Lindale and got beat by those guys. They were all pretty close, relatively close games, but did get beat. And then we also played Quitman in Lindale, and we did sweep Quitman, and I think they were pretty good. 3A, they may be 4A, I'm not sure, but we got after them, and then we just got beat by Hallsville, which also pretty good. I think their record's like 19 or 20-6, and I think ours is 19-6 or something like that right now. So, and it was close. It was close games, other than one game the other night where I think we got beat 25-23 and 25-22, and that was like 25-18.
Other than Felipe, everyone okay physically?
Everyone's good right now, and so just pray for good health and good play. So, but anyway, we're super excited. Super excited about this team. We realize that we had a good start, but we know it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher as we go. And that's the reason we schedule up, and we're excited about our schedule, and we're excited to see what this group can do.
Yeah, some interesting games this year too, involving our district. Pleasant Grove, I recall, is playing 3 teams in our district, 2 other teams other than Carthage, and you got Argyle and Chapel Hill this year, and Van, I think, is going up against Gilmer this next week. So some interesting non-district games for all the teams in our district. Okay, any final words, Scott?
We told our team yesterday our program's built for everything, no excuses, and what I meant by that is, it could be raining tomorrow night with a hurricane raining away and raining in. Well, there's no excuses. I told them the story about the 2013 group. Bobby Shoots, the quarterback, and T. Goree, and Tevin Pipkin, and all those great linemen we had, and the defensive guys, and we never had any excuses. We went through the worst weather ever possible in the playoffs, from Corsicana to Orange to the worst weather. I'm talking about winds of 30 to 40 miles an hour, and there was no excuses, and they got it done. And we're not going to make any about any weather or anything else around here. Injuries, we just got to keep playing next man up. If we have injuries and if it's flooding tomorrow night, we got to handle the circumstances.
And what is the forecast for tomorrow night?
It says it's going to be about 50% chance of rain when I just looked at it around 7 and 8 o'clock, and then goes to that 30% at 9. So there is a little slot in there. It looks like it may stop, but it may turn in about an hour to 100%. I don't know if they know, especially with the hurricane. So
grass or turf up there?
It's turf. We played the first game on it a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
It was we were the very first game on their turf, and so that won't be a problem on that. It's just if it's really, really flooding, snap issues and throwing the football stuff.
And incidentally, some trivia as we leave you this week. Some trivia: Jacksonville, the first team to play in Bulldog Stadium back in 2008, and the Bulldogs will be the first team to play in the brand new Tomato Bowl next year in 2019. All right, for Coach Scott Suratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a great weekend, everyone.